Samantha Kemp-Jackson is back, the multiple Mayhem Mama. Good morning.
Good morning.
So it's hard to believe that here we are all of a sudden, boom, the summer goes like that. We're getting ready for back to school. And so you've got some tips on getting ready for it. And your first tip is talk the talk. You need to let your kids know what's happening.
Yes, so don't shock them, and I think it's really important to have a discussion with them about what school is going to be like when they go back. So if it's their first time, if they're going to kindergarten, or if they're going to, junior or senior kindergarten, talk to them about what to expect, what the school is going to be like, and that way you can have a discussion with them about any questions or concerns they might have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm a little concerned because my littlest is starting kindergarten, and she won't quite be 4.
Yeah.
Oh. I know.
So as a parent, what do you do that first week? Are you sort of standing by in case something happens, or do you just brave it, drop them off, and then, kind of hope for the best?
Yeah.
Well, ideally you'd like to be there. So that's one of the tips is be available. If you're able to, I know that we all have work constraints and sometimes we can't do that, and that's understandable, but if you're able to go in a little bit late to work, drop your child off, stay with them for a little while, and just be available so they know that you're there for a comfort and that you'll be there to kind of hold their hand through the transition.
Now, how accommodating are schools to allow the parents in there? Because when you go from daycare, where you can drop in basically at any time and double check and make sure everything is okay and meet the teachers and know what's happening, you can't really do that with a regular school, can you? It's probably better in the long run to not always have that, by the way, what's going on, but at the same time, you want to have that drop-in access, do you know?
I don't know. I think, especially for kids who are going to kindergarten, they're small children. They're 4 years old, and I think, goodness gracious, they're 4 years old. The parents should be able to at least walk in with them and stay for 5 minutes. And, if that's an issue, perhaps there's a discussion with a teacher that needs to be had beforehand so that you know that your child is going to be supported in their first day back.
Okay.
What kind of things do you think it would be important to include in their backpack to make the kids feel a little more comfortable, like their favorite Banky or something like that? Would that be a good idea?
Yes, that's
transition into the day?
Yes, so Deb, that's definitely one of the tips is give them that security blanket, literally and figuratively. So if there's a special blanket that they have, a special stuffed toy, a special book, a picture from home of their family. It might sound silly, but for little kids, that's really important to have that comfort that they can kind of go back to and draw upon when they're feeling a little bit stressed out.
Oh.
I know. It's okay, Liza. It'll be okay.
I've been walking this out into this conversation. I'm like, okay.
Deep breaths.
Yeah, I see. And it's like you have your tips here. It's like assure your child. I'm like, who assures the mom?
You got to be strong for your child. Assure them that it's going to be okay, because it is going to be okay. And this is part of their growth process. So, all of our kids eventually do grow up, and they go through these small stages. And it's hard for us as parents too. But you kind of have to put on your game face for your kids, because if they see that you're stressed, then they're going to pick up on that stress, and they're going to be even more anxious.
Right.
So fake it till you make it.
Now you want to also say, ain't that the story of life? You want to sweeten the deal. So are you allowed to negotiate sometimes?
I'm all about sweetening the deal. Sometimes you have to. I'm not necessarily bribing your child, but maybe saying to them, hey, let's get that special new backpack that you like, or do you want to get that new doll to put in your knapsack, or something like that. Not saying that you should always be giving in to their demands, but I think in these particular instances, it might not be a bad idea.
Right. Any tips for a mom or dad dropping the kid off and all of a sudden little Johnny just starts bawling? What do you do? How do you reassure Johnny in that moment that everything's going to be okay?
Well, that's where it goes back to the reassurances and also about being available, Deb. So it might not be a bad idea to take that extra 5 or 10 minutes and maybe be a little bit late for work and say, you know what, I'm going to stay here with you and I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to walk you through this and you're going to be okay for a few minutes. And if your boss or supervisor doesn't understand, then they're a cold-hearted person.
I mean, it's one thing when you're dropping them off the first day. What if they don't want to go back? So I tried it, Mom, and I don't like it. I don't like the kid. What do you do?
Well, I think, again, that's about having the discussion. So, of course, you would have had the discussion beforehand, but I think also kind of debriefing with them when you pick them up and saying, okay, what did you do today? How was it? What did you like? What did you not like? Why did you not like that? This is what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe talking to the teacher and finding out what the plan is for the week. Because usually with kindergarten or smaller kids, they'll tell you what the curriculum is and what's planned for each day. So maybe get them a little bit excited about what they might be doing, some kind of crafts or activities or something of that nature.
I was thinking that when you talk about this, it makes me think that I should almost go visit the school, if it's the first day of school, and actually do the path and walk and visit the schools. This is what you're going to see, and sort of, you may not get in the classroom because it may be closed, but at least to expose them to what they're going to face.
Absolutely. So that was actually the first tip, is visit is it. So basically you're casing the joint with your child. So you go there, if you can, in these couple of weeks leading up to Labor Day.
These are big places.
They're big places. So walk over with your child and say, hey, you know, we're just going to have a little walk. We're going to go and look at where you're going to be going to school. Get them excited. It's all about positive reinforcement so that when you actually do take them on that first day, it's not a big shock to them. You might want to go 2 or 3 times. I know it's an effort for parents, but it's worth it in the long run because then they won't have that meltdown.
They do thrive on routine.
You and Rosie will be a mess like
I know. Rosie's away because she's dropping her daughter off at university, so she's doing that thing.
Yes.
And then with mine going to kindergarten, Rosie and I will be a catastrophe.
under the table.
You'll be okay.
Breathing. Samantha Kemp-Jackson, you can check her out at Multiple Mayhem Mama. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you again. 10 minutes before 8. We'll be right back.